All right, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I hope we can see what you're having in the market. 100. Is my screen visible? Can you see my screen? Hello, can you see my screen?
Ng'ati mwogera nga sibawulira. Mwe mumpulira ali wano ampulira bannange?
Okay, can you hear me now? I can
Yes,
hear
I
you.
can
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me now?
Yes, you are back.
Yes.
Okay, okay. I hope
Okay.
this keep interrupting. All right, guys, thank you. I've been talking about us. I've been saying that we're going to be sharing something about trade settings today. Very simple. Uh, and I'll take on some of your queries. I appreciate an interactive session. I appreciate an interactive session. So you can always raise your hand and let me know of a question or unmute and ask your question mid-session as we are continuing, as we are learning, so that we can get to understand each other. So this morning, I've been pretty impressed about the statistics of the market. So before we get into what we have to study, I've been so impressed about the statistics in the market, which I wanted to share about. So as we see here, we see that BTC has recovered from last week's lows. We saw last week Bitcoin going as low as 107. we really saw a huge sell-off from the previous 3 weeks. That is after it really hit an all-time high. We saw a huge sell-off at the start of this month. As you can see, the end of August and the start of September, we've been seeing a huge sell-off. But for this week and the previous week, it has been quite bullish. So that means by the start of September, because we ended previous month of August with a huge sell-off. So what we are looking at here is my Bitcoin chart on the weekly time frame. Yeah, the weekly time frame. But as we can see here, Bitcoin has been clearly doing pretty much the same thing. And this can give us an idea of where the market is leading. We can see Bitcoin has reacted off of a zone that it created here. Those of us who do technical analysis and can realize some of these areas in the market, Bitcoin fully filled the imbalance that it had left here, and we can see it really filled it entirely. But then as it was dipping, it reacted off of this zone, and we are seeing that Bitcoin has, on the weekly, it has started printing a very bullish candle. When we measure that, it is around 2.69%. However, what is more important is that Bitcoin is printing a very green bullish candle. So we still have 3 days to the close of this week. However, what we are seeing on the larger time frame is that Bitcoin is continuing with its laddered upward movement. So one of the things that we can expect is continuous growth of Bitcoin as we continue in this month. So we still have a very many major news events in the fundamental area, which could affect strongly the direction of the market. However, we are positive. For example, the biggest elephant in the room at the moment is having interest rates cuts for this month. So if we significantly see some good news in that area, we expect that Bitcoin is very likely going to hit a new all-time high. So we expect a good pump from wherever it is right now, probably an over 8% pump. So for Bitcoin to reclaim its previous high, Bitcoin would have to move 8% or 8.5% to reclaim and maybe take out the previous high at 124, I believe, $1,000. That was 123,700. So as we can see here, that the previous high is 123. So maybe we're looking at Bitcoin hitting 124 and then maybe aiming for higher areas as it continues to break its all-time highs and getting on to new heights. So we can see the pattern has continued repeating itself. Bitcoin rallies pretty much, then consolidates for about a few weeks. We are seeing a shorter rally this time round, and Bitcoin consolidated for pretty much longer than it did last time, because here we see 1, 2, 3, 4. In 4 weeks, Bitcoin was before it finally passed. We see Bitcoin which lasted around 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. Yeah. Actually 6 weeks, and then we saw a meltdown where Bitcoin came and dipped into this area. We are seeing a rejection could very easily be the fuel that we need, that is going to push Bitcoin new heights. So we understand very well that our Bitcoin analysis here is really what tells us what happens in the rest of the market. So as we see Bitcoin rising, the market usually follows, and the market very times when Bitcoin is healthily rising, printing green candles, not all assets, but most of the assets would pretty much take on the same trend. So we can see very clearly on the daily that Bitcoin has rejected this area. Yeah, as you see, there are very strong rejection candles here, and then we can see pumps up. So we can see still when the market tapped into the area, rejected it once again, and now we are seeing momentum starting to build up. We haven't seen a clear change of character yet, maybe internal changes of character, but very soon. I don't think this is a change of character. Let me see. This must be a change of character. Let me just be sure. Yeah, we actually have noted we have noted a change of character in the 4 hour. So from the previous downtrend, yes, we have a clear change of character. That is a good sign. That is a good sign. So Bitcoin having a clear change of character from yesterday's candle, closing right up above the previous known swing high. So we see a clear change of character. What that means a Bitcoin has flagged for us a potential upward movement. So if this is sustained and it doesn't continue down, we might see some really serious recovery in the market. I wanted to Bitcoin and what we can expect of it. Now, some of the things that move Bitcoin are going to be hugely fundamentals. So we have, first of all, today we have a very clear um, fundamental news coming through, and that is really important for you to watch out and see where it leads the direction to, because being at the top there, and when it's affected by the fundamental news, obviously the shockwave is going to spread in the rest of the market. Good about Bitcoin this week is that we saw Bitcoin starting off on a very positive note this week. I think we see the candle on Sunday 7th September. So we started off Sunday and Bitcoin really printed a huge engulfing candle from Saturday's candle. So we can see this was Friday. Friday was a lot of volatility in Bitcoin. Actually, yeah, this was a lot of volatility. We had news on Friday, and it was expected that maybe it would push the market higher, but there was a lot of manipulation on that day. So that's why we see a long week candle that really rose and then came down. So Friday was characterized by a lot of volatility. We see Saturday and then Sunday, we can see Bitcoin printed a very big bullish engulfing candle. So that started off our week on a very good note. On a very good note. That is why most of us who have been trading since Monday, you've realized that many of the assets on spot have been paying off pretty fast and pretty good. Yesterday's candle, which was hugely bullish, gave us a confirmation that Bitcoin has changed character now. Today, we can only expect the market to be bullish and really bullish. But some of the things that could come in the way of the market being bullish is the news. So it's important to watch out for what the news will affect the market. But if the news don't affect the market, we are clearly going to see strong bullish momentum. So if that is sustained and we continue to see positive news towards the crypto market, and we're very certain to see Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high in this very month. So one of the things that could cause this to happen is going to be, if, for example, we get the interest rate cuts, because that has been speculated over very many times this month and the rest of the months of this year. So if we get even the slightest positive news under the interest rate cuts saga, we are very likely going to see very bullish the rest of the month in this September. So let's I wanted to share that so that you can watch out for that, and then you can be able to tell how do you manage your risk and how do you expose yourself in the market with all that information that you have gathered. Ethereum being the next to Bitcoin. Ethereum, where is my Ethereum? Ethereum. Yes. So Ethereum, I think I also caught a trade on Ethereum last Friday, but as you can see, this is Friday's candle. Yeah, that is Friday's candle. We still saw a lot of manipulation and volatility. So what we are seeing about Ethereum is we are seeing indecision in the market, a lot of indecision in the market. When we see candles on our daily, and these candles are giving us long wicks, like literally long wicks. What we want to see in a healthy trend is a clear direction. You see, this is a range, clear direction, right? This is a range, clear direction. This clear direction, right? But when we come to such areas and we are seeing long wick candles, this to me is a sign of lack of momentum in the market. Yeah. So we can see Ethereum has been consolidating downwards and not having a lot of momentum because of these very, very uncertain candles. Yeah. We have wicks on the low side, we have wicks on the high side. So clearly, it is not giving really anything for us to try and best of. So, however, if you follow things like this, we can see that Ethereum consolidated around an area of interest here, and it can come from all the way this side. Depends how you look at the market. Uh, um, you can consider this. Um, Different market concepts would dictate different things. But yeah, if you saw May, it is still the same zone, right? It is still the same zone, it's still the same area. If we are to use more tools on our chart, we can also come and see the alignment on the fib, right? So the alignment on the fib shows us that the market retraced and entered into the golden zone, that is the area between 50 and 61.8. And then we are seeing that the market bounced off of that area and it is consolidating around the area of 38.2. So um, we can see Ethereum is still holding up strongly. What we see is Ethereum has not broken down. We are not seeing a breakdown of Ethereum going into a bearish momentum. So on a larger time frame, we are clearly seeing a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low. So Ethereum is definitely strongly bullish, and it is maintaining its bullish momentum, picking up from here. So we can see carrying from here, Ethereum as well has now started getting some momentum, pushing it outside this area. Clearly, we want to see Ethereum changing its character and going extremely bullish. So what I said about the news and the fundamentals that are in the market currently, yeah, when we get the positive news, especially the big elephant in the room, going very, very positive towards the financial markets, we expect to see Ethereum blow off the top, go hit 5,000 and maybe even beyond, right? This won't be a very, very huge target because Ethereum reclaiming its all-time high recently it made would be a 12% movement, and Ethereum taking out the 5,000 mark would be around 13%. Yeah. Now it's not so certain whether Ethereum is really going to make it up all the way there, but as I told you earlier, the crypto market is very, very heavily influenced by fundamentals. So when you look at the fundamentals, you can tell. According to me, buying pressure that has been, sustained for the previous months, I believe Ethereum has the potential to get beyond 5K, maybe 6.5, maybe 7K, right? Before we can see an end to the current bull run. Why am I sharing all of this? Why I'm sharing all of this is I'm trying to show you some of the things that you can look at and try and gauge where the market is standing. The bullish momentum we've seen this week has pushed this indicator very high. I saw this in the morning. Someone posted about it in the group. They posted about the out season index being at 67, 67 out of 100. Now, this out season index basically is basically just showing us where capital is leaning towards from the most recent data. Yeah. So if capital is leaning towards Bitcoin that much, we are going to see this indicator moving so much to this side. We have seen in the past few weeks that Bitcoin has not been rising. Actually, it has been falling. It has just started rising this week and last week. So the altcoin season index is definitely going to flag to us a good percentage, as you can see. Earlier on this morning, it was at 69 out of 100. It's now coming down to around 67 out of 100. And we can see some of the top performance of some of those tokens. We can see the tokens that have performed better than the others. We can see just by altcoin season index crossing over 50 and going above 60, some of the tokens have been able to do a healthy 80%. Yeah, OKB has done 276 in the last 90 days. So this is data that is picked from the last 3 months. We are seeing some of these tokens really outperforming themselves. But when I'm looking at this, I want to look at the assets that are really have good utility. Solana being at 55, Arbitrum being at 55, Chainlink at 81, Say at 87, Ethereum at 76. These are really good percentages. These are things that you can look at and gauge whether we are in a bull run or not. And what the percentages that you're seeing there actually tell you how strong of the bull run sentiment investors believe that we are in. The fear and greed index is still very below 50%. 50 that basically shows us that basically shows us neutrality in the market. What does that mean for us? Even though we are seeing the numbers on the charts, some of the tokens are really moving, the sentiment in investors, as we can see here, is still very neutral. What is the opportunity at hand for you when our sentiment is neutral is basically showing you that investors have not yet been sure that they should really push in the money in the market. What do you have to do when such things happen? So we've seen everything else is showing us bullish momentum in the market. However, the fear and greed index is basically giving us neutrality, right? Neutrality, and then we are also seeing, but we're seeing things like altcoin season index giving us a figure like 67. Earlier it was at 69, probably it hit 70. These are usually to show us small pumps that come out of a few investor sentiments, a few tokens that are really outperforming others. But this are good indicators to show us that we are headed for the big run, right? So at the moment, I would not advise you to spend a lot of your money in risky bets and maybe burn it out on futures, or maybe risk aggressively on sport and not have a chance to trade this money, because what we are seeing is all a preparation for a very huge breakout in the market. Now, a lot of you are going to be confused when the market finally breaks out. A lot of you are not going to know what to do. A lot of you are going to see red and blue when the market finally breaks out and you were not ready and you do not know what to do. So the market is going to be green everywhere and you probably want to hop onto everything. When we track this information, when we track this data, basically we want to know when exactly to position ourselves and how to respond when the market changes. What we are seeing here is the market has started to change. The market is starting to move. Yeah. However, we do not have concrete fuel for the market to move into what we want to see. Things like out season. So some of the big elephants in the room are interest rate cuts. If we see interest rate cuts, I assure you Bitcoin is going to hit a new all-time high. Ethereum will be flying over there, and your favorite token will probably be making a 50% on the chart. Yeah. But before we see that, it's uncertainty in the market. Yes, the rallies may come, the pumps may come, but the reminder here is for you to manage your risk accordingly, right? To manage your risk accordingly, because what we are looking for, what we are waiting for, has not yet come, right? We are just seeing anticipation. We are just seeing um, excitement in the market by a few things that are moving the market. And in the event that it does not come, we are bound to see something that happened last December, yeah, where we expected out season, but out season really did not come. Yeah, we saw our coins pump and then dump on us in just a matter of a few months. Yeah, so we don't want to get into such a situation. Want to get into such a situation, a situation like that this time round. So I'm just going to try and show you a chart here. Ethereum. Great. Here we go. On Ethereum. So what I'm going to show you is just simple data that we can use, or that some of us use for the analysis to gauge where is capital flowing really. Yeah. What we are seeing here is, okay, let me explain the chart that we are looking at. The chart we are looking at is basically a chart that shows us the market capitalization of all the altcoins against the market capitalization of Ethereum, the leading altcoin. It is showing us the market capitalization of all the altcoins. So we have basically gotten a Bitcoin and stable coins and, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stable coins outside the calculation. So in this, we are seeing market capitalization minus of the entire crypto market minus Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stable coins. Yeah. So we are seeing here that against Ethereum. So how is the market capitalization of everything in the market performing against Ethereum? Yeah. So what we are seeing here is when this chart goes down, when it goes down like this, it basically means Ethereum is dominating the market capitalization of all other tokens. Yeah. When this chart goes up, it basically means the market capitalization of all other altcoins against Ethereum is now acting and coming out stronger. Why is that important for us? That is really important for us because when one of the indicators to show us that we are headed for out season is when Ethereum's dominance starts dropping and money flows. Basically, when we see Ethereum's dominance dropping, we understand that money has started to flow into altcoins. Yeah, altcoins. But we don't want to see money flowing into Bitcoin. We don't want to see money flowing into stable coins. We want to see money flowing into real altcoins, because altcoins are basically what all of us trade apart from Ethereum. Yeah, apart from Bitcoin. So if you don't trade Bitcoin and you don't trade Ethereum, anything else that you're trading is an altcoin. And we want to see how capital is flowing into those into those altcoins. Now, the point of equilibrium is one. When this chart reaches one, it means that the market capitalization of Ethereum is equal to the market capitalization of all the other tokens in the market added all together. Yeah, so that is basically what is happening on this chart. And at this point, we can see in January 2021. In 2021, we saw a pump. We saw basically a rally. We saw a bull run, right? And one of the things we see here is that the market cap of Ethereum kept on going down against the market cap of all the altcoins. And immediately it reached one here at this point when it was at equilibrium. That means market cap of Ethereum was equal to the market cap of all other altcoins. Arise, just a moment. Here. All right. All right, we're good to go. Okay, hope you can hear me. You can just unmute your mic and let me know that you can hear me.
Yes, you are
Can you hear
clear.
me? Thank you
Yes.
so
Can hear
much.
you.
So here we see the point it reached here in 2021. We see that this is at the same point that it started. Ethereum lost all its dominance over the other altcoins, and then we see other altcoins money started flowing into other altcoins. That means the market cap of other altcoins started to rise against Ethereum, and we see the top here happening in April 2021. And if you go to the chart, you're going to see that many tokens rose in value between January 2021 and peaked around April 2021. Now, to make this much more relevant to our newer traders, I'm going to come to where you actually have been participating in the market. So we see it's the cycle repeated. We can see the market still went back down. So that means that the market capitalization of all other tokens went down and Ethereum started dominating. However, as and reached the one level once again, and that is in 2023. 2023 we saw another what? Another rally. Yeah, it was basically a bull run. Yeah, so we see another rally happening. Ethereum's dominance really overpowered the dominance of all the market capitalization of all other tokens added all together in the market. And then we see around here altcoins picked up in July 2023, and they started basically pumping and dominating over Ethereum. So we can see a mini pump came through retracement, almost Ethereum got back to its one level, but then from there we saw a huge mega breakout, right? A huge mega breakout. Now let us see what happened. This was in June 2024. This was last year. All right, this was last year in June 2024, and Ethereum's dominance really tanked, and altcoins started to pick up. Right now, we see altcoins investment, because last year started off as a halving year, and halving years are basically bullish years. People's sentiments are that we are going to have some bullish a bullish season. So we can see altcoins started dominating in terms of a market capitalization against Ethereum. So we can see a rise here. Now, the true breakout came on Monday, 4th November 2024, and we all know what happened then. If you don't remember, that is the day that the day before Donald Trump was announced president, winner of the rally, presidential elections in America. So the day after that we see is when we see a very bullish momentum candle happening in the following week that came through November 11, 2024. So we saw a lot of altcoins pumping in the month of November. What that explains in the market means that a lot of money was pulled out of major coins like Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin was pumping, but the market capitalization of Ethereum was not greater than the market capitalization of all other tokens added together. When the market capitalization of all other tokens added together is greater than Ethereum, it is a good indicator to show you that you're about to make a lot of money in altcoins. So we can see this really contributed to a huge pump. And if you traded around November, December, you are very certain that the market was really bullish, right? The market really went crazy between November and early December before we started to see a blow off the top where the market basically just stopped, rising. Okay. So in February, as you can see, still in February, we saw a huge dump in the market, but still the dominance of other altcoins was still high. But then we are seeing that around April, and all of us know what happened this year. Around April, a lot of altcoins had dropped. They had dropped and they had basically bottomed out. Many of the coins some of you bought in January, in December, were down by 60%, 50%, 70, some of them even 80%, right? Now, around that area in April, we saw that when all these tokens had dumped, all of the money had been sucked out, and money started flowing back into Ethereum and major alts like major alts, basically Ethereum, all of those alts you see in the top 10, right? Top 20 assets. So we see our chart here showing us that Ethereum started dominating. That means more money was flowing into Ethereum than altcoins. And you can see not very many altcoins have been performing healthily, even though Ethereum has been on the rise. Yeah. What we are seeing here today and what has happened in the past 3 weeks is the market has reached the very point 1.4 where it pumped from last November. Right? This very point where it pumped from last November is where the market has reached in the last 3 weeks. And it has rejected that area. We are starting to see very strong and healthy green candles. What does that mean? Basically, it can be an indicator to show us that money has started to flow back into altcoins, right? Possible flow back of money into altcoins. Yeah. Now, what am I looking for alt season? What I'm looking for alt season is something much more true, something like what happened here. I want to see this chart coming and tapping one, the level of one, right? I want to see the chart tapping level one. We can see here the chart tapped level one here, and poof, we went up, right? Now, this drop has not touched level one, right? I'm not yet so certain that this could be a good indicator that alt season is here. But what I want to see is when this chart comes and taps level one, I will be 100% sure. Yeah, and it gets a rejection off of level one here, I'll be 100% sure that alt season is very likely, very imminent, and we are about to see a true pump, not just what we saw in November that only lasted a few weeks and then people were dumped on in the following 3, 4, 5 months ahead. But the thing that you can see is the market has reached the very, very level that it picked up from last November. However, now what you have to look at, and what you have to look at very, very strongly, is fundamentals fueled this pump, right? Fundamentals, and in that time, fundamentals included President Donald Trump being elected and coming in as the candidate that was supporting cryptocurrencies, right? Now, news like that helped to fuel the rally that saw us rise all the way up, right? Now, currently, what do we have that could have the potential of pumping the market? And why am I sharing this? So that when you see it, you have enough conviction and you know how to manage your risk when you're entering trades, right? What we're seeing here is that in the previous few weeks, we've seen the build-up. Yeah, we've seen Ethereum making an all-time high. We've seen BNB making all-time highs. Solana, oh my God, is above $220 at least yesterday. I'm not sure the price of Solana today, but yesterday Solana went, yes, Solana is soaring above $220 as we speak. So what we are seeing is a preparation of something like that, right? We are seeing the market getting ready for something really, really big that is coming. Now, if we see positive news, something like the big elephant, interest rate cuts coming through this month, I don't expect this chart to get to 1 very quickly. Yeah, I don't expect it to get to 1. That would be big enough. Another pump as we saw here. That means money flowing into altcoins, and basically you making a lot of money in the market if you know what you're doing. That is what it means, right? Now, if we have that news come through, it has enough fuel to push us maybe a greater distance, maybe halfway through what we saw between November and April last year, or maybe all the way through, right? However, if the news does not come through and we still have to rely on statistics and data, I want to see the market, Ethereum's dominance really coming back and dominating the market and probably getting to the level one. A rejection on this point is something that I will have to use to tell me about the status of the market and what I can expect. However, the news, and we see a rejection from a point that we rejected last time, we picked up from last time. So that is very positive. That is very, very good in this market. Yeah. So anytime you see the news, definitely we are going in for the bulls. The bulls are preparing. Yeah. The bulls are preparing. So with that, I just wanted to show you, I use a number of indicators. This is not all that I use. Maybe the other indicator that I can show you to try and gauge where we are in this rally or this bull run is the Bitcoin dominance. We saw Bitcoin dominance dropping from a few weeks ago. We've seen it dropping from July. We've seen sustained drops from August. We can see very healthy red candles in the Bitcoin dominance. Now, I want Bitcoin dominance to be below 60%. I want it to stay there. I don't want it to rise above 60%. I don't want it to trade anywhere around 60%, 61, 62, 63. I don't want it to even get close to 59. What we are seeing here is it's rising. It has risen and it is at about 58.22%, right? For out season, I want Bitcoin dominance to be trading at 54%. I want it to be going and continuing to tank to around 52, 50, and more probably 49. Yeah. So Bitcoin dominance getting to levels like 45 is the peak for me for out season, right? Everything is pumping. Everyone is euphoric. The market is crazy, and yeah, we've made a lot of money by then. So if you're still looking to make money when Bitcoin dominance is under 48%, I want you to know that you have higher chances of being exit liquidity than the chances are you're either going to flip your account and make a lot of money around that area. That is if you've really landed a good project and it was moving, or you're actually going to be exit liquidity for a lot actually who have been building their positions into that time. Now, what does that mean? That means that if Bitcoin dominance is still as high as 58, it is time to prepare. It is time to get your capital, go look for money if you want to look for it. If you have to trade it in the market and get profits, don't waste the profits into risky bets that could probably wipe away your account. Try and prepare the money, right? Because anytime it's happening, right? So Bitcoin dominance dropping because we are seeing that it is continuing in its downtrend. It's creating lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs. Hopefully this candle can come and give us another lower low that goes up to as low as 54. But for out season or for true bullish momentum in the market, I want to see Bitcoin dominance coming as low as 56, going as low as 55, and as low as 54. Now, the other indicator that I want to look at is the now, Ethereum dominance. I want to see Ethereum dominance rise as high as 16%. I've done analysis and I've thought about this or from a certain this was 29th March 2021 before the breakout of the bullish market in the previous rally. Yeah. So we see Ethereum's dominance came as high as 16% and then it dropped. And then at this point, there are a lot of other indicators that got in alignment, but Ethereum dominance really just broke above and started rallying. And Ethereum dominance, when we see Ethereum dominating, basically Bitcoin is going down, right? So the relationship between Ethereum dominance and Bitcoin dominance is basically when Bitcoin's dominance is going down, Ethereum's dominance has to be rising. Basically what you're seeing here, right? So I want to see Bitcoin's dominance as low as 54%, Ethereum dominance as high as 16%, right? Some of those some of the things that we've been able to gauge using data to know where we stand in terms of the market, out season market, right? we see around this area, Ethereum dominated and went as high as Ethereum's dominance ranged above having a low at 16, or rather 17, and then having a high at around 20. So in true out season, we want to see Ethereum dominating as high as this, right? We want to see it dominating as high as that. We've seen Ethereum dominating higher than that even before, right? We are seeing this in 2018. This happened in 2018, Ethereum dominating as high as 23%, and that was a bull run. That is, yeah, 2017 bull run, 2017, 2018 bull run, around that area. Yeah. So we are seeing the previous bull run, Ethereum dominance going as high as 20% and having a low, consolidating with a low of around 16.5 area before we can see the breakdown and when the market's finally done, right? So I want to see Ethereum's dominance rising above this level, my 16% level, for me to confirm real momentum in the market, for me to confirm retail into the market. Now, for you who is already trading cryptocurrencies, for you who, because a lot of people are going to come, a lot of new people are going to come because we are in out season, right? A lot of people are going to hear about cryptocurrencies and they're going to see the profits that you people are going to make, and they're going to flow into the what? Into the crypto space. Now, those people, when they come, they bring the liquidity to the market, and their money is one of the reasons why the market pumps so hard. What we call that, what do we call that? Is basically called retail FOMO. Retail FOMO is basically when new people who have never heard about cryptocurrencies, never interested themselves in cryptocurrencies, never done anything. And some of you, by the way, that is how you came into cryptocurrencies. You were retail FOMO in previous rallies, and probably you stayed around to learn about crypto and see how you can make money. Now, we are anticipating another wave of retail FOMO. As soon as fundamentals align perfectly, we're going to see retail FOMO coming in. Retail FOMO usually comes through altcoins, small tokens, meme coins, narrative tokens. But this rally, we've seen a lot of institutional FOMO. We've seen institutions basically just FOMOing into these coins. So we are going to see quite a dynamic, interesting thing this time, because institutions are also coming in and flowing in with a lot of capital into the market. So institutions move the market. They are the smart money. They are the big guys, right? They move the market. Retail has also its place in moving the market, because when retail comes in and they are formuling, they are going to bring a lot of money, especially in those tiny tokens. And in retail, FOMO is basically is the time where we see out season is now getting to its peak. Yeah, out season is getting to its peak. But some of the data that we can look at is Ethereum dominance has to really rise. I want to see Ethereum dominance rising to as high as 16. Now we can see Ethereum has been rising in a very healthy manner. Yeah, from around June, we see Ethereum's dominance has risen by 67%. We just need it to get at from the point where it is. I want to see it rising toward maybe another 16, 17, 20%, right? And let it hit around 16%. And I want to see it sustain that level. I don't want it to hit and come down. I want to see Ethereum dominance hitting 16% and sustaining above and trading above. Now, when Ethereum starts dominating like that, I am very certain coins under Ethereum are now going to start rallying, right? I'm going to be very certain that blockchains that are sister blockchains to Ethereum are now going to start rallying. Now, one of the things that we've seen is BNB. BNB has been hitting all-time highs regardless of what is happening in the market. BNB is a blockchain that has been used to create a lot of memes and a lot of utility assets out there. So it is not a surprise that we are seeing BNB hitting an all-time high, for example, like $900 recently. Now, in an alt season or in a bull market, some of the things that I want to see that give me positive indications of where the market is headed is things like major outs starting to do what? Major outs starting to, where is this thing? I'm not seeing it, but you can Google it. It's basically an illustration, path to out season. Yeah. Basically looking for this image. Basically looking for this image. I hope you can see this, yeah? I hope you can see this. So I want to see large caps. This is phase three of out season, of the bull run. Yeah, the when we go through the cycle of at least carrying from previous history of cycles, I want to see large caps outperforming, large caps hitting all-time highs. Yeah, and some of the things that can confirm is we've already seen Bitcoin hitting all-time highs several times this year. It has just basically been breaking its all-time highs almost every 2 months, hitting a new all-time high. So phase one has been going on very well. We've seen Ethereum reached a time and it outperformed Bitcoin, where Ethereum did a 60%. Ethereum hit its all-time high. So we've already seen signs of phase two. Now, large caps like BNB have started to move. BNB has hit its all-time high. Solana is really, really in healthy areas. We are also seeing those large caps are now very, very healthily moving in the upward direction. So basically, according to schedule or according to the not schedule, but according to the flow of what we are seeing here, phases, we at least we can confidently say that we are in the third phase, basically staggering between the third and the second phase, third and second phase, but more so on the third phase. Now, the third phase is basically what leads us to what most of us want to see, the out season. And the things that I've been sharing with you, those are the things that you can look out for, and so the things that you can use to gauge where we stand in the market. Now, when you understand where we stand in the market, you're going to risk appropriately. You're going to trade appropriately. Now, this is not the time for you to go all in on a small cap. Yeah, it's not the time for you to go crazy risk management on a futures bet, right? This is a time for you to be preparing your baskets, preparing your stores where you're going to store all the money that you're going to make in out season and in that upcoming rally. Why? Because we're still consolidating, we are still staggering in and out, right? The market has not gotten that trigger that is basically going to pump it up. So during this time, I would advise someone to be taking small trades, very good risk managed trades, and download image. Yeah, very good risk managed trades to protect the capital that you have, right? Try as much as possible to make the money because the money is there. The charts are actually moving. When we look at the chart, for example, I can show you some of the tokens that I've been looking at. I can come and show you an example of, I don't know, Jupiter. Will you give me what I'm looking for? Jupiter, will you give me what I'm looking for? Because these are tokens that have been trading. So you can see from the start of this month, Jupiter alone managed to pump, and you are clearly marked already on the chart. If I may say from here, Jupiter alone managed to give me a 22%. Now Jupiter is maybe did move that much. Maybe let me pick on an asset that moved. Let's see some of the assets that I trade here. Let's say injective, for example, July, August, start of August, around this area. Yeah. So just from the start of August, I can see injective gave me a good 31%, right? Before it really went down. Now we are seeing that injective is now recovering from pretty much the same areas, and so far it has given me a 17% move up in the market, right? So these are trades that we can take. Now, if we went into lower market capitalization tokens, like one of the tokens that I shared recently, lower market capitalization tokens. Now, they have a funny way, because now look at this token. Yeah, it came back, it tapped into this area, and that was a very good buying opportunity. I think I predicted a 60% on this token, and I just want you to see how much it moved. This token has done a 95%. Yeah. So some of these tokens are really, performing and showing very, very good signs. But I want you to understand where we stand in the season and how to risk and how to protect your capital. Yes, we are going to see such huge movements in the market, especially when we see some slight leaning into the bullish momentum in the market. However, that is not all in the what? That is not all. That is not what we are looking for. So during this time, make your trades, place your stop profit, place your profit, but don't go all in the risk, right? It's basically not good for you to be on the wrong side of the market, especially for futures traders. There is that aspect of losing. Don't try to lose all your money right now. Don't try to make a lot of money right now when the market is not deciding exactly a clear trend. You can take the money because the money is really there. You can get a 5% every day if you looked for it. You can get a 3%. You can get a 2% every day if you look for it. Try to sit and fit within that risk management and that profit that you're able to make. Try to limit your exposure to the market at the moment. Why? Because the market has not yet given us that very huge green light. Now, when that very huge green light comes, you can now take maybe much bigger exposure, being sure that we are in a positive trend. But even so, when we get there, I hope I will get a chance to share with you how not to get into the problem certain people got into last December because they thought we are going forever. Yeah, and they started, they just poured their money into the market, and it resulted into abnormal floating loss, things like floating 70%, floating for 300 days, 200 days. Those things you can avoid, especially when you know where we stand in the market. So you know when to enter the market and you know when to exit the market, even though the market is still doing green candles. Now, the best traders are not the ones who sell the top. The best traders are the ones who have a clear exit strategy when the market starts paying off. So some of those things we are going to be sharing. I will have a session, I think, tomorrow as well, tomorrow morning. Make sure you come around. Um, Friday, I think, as well, evening. We are going to continuously share these things because it is clear out season is coming unless we don't see rate cuts. Maybe it can be extended but not eliminated. It can be extended further into the future but not eliminated. But it is very clear it is coming. And some of the mistakes we did last time we should not be able to do. Some of the mistakes are we didn't know where we stand in the market. We didn't know what to expect out of the market. For example, last year, November, it was just a news pump. It was just a Donald Trump pump. And we saw Donald Trump pump to the market when he was coming into office, and when he was sworn into office, he dumped the market. So that was not clear following data. But what we are doing now is we are looking at the data and being able to gauge where we stand. Now, when you're able to gauge where the market is, generally, you'll be able to know how to manage. Let's have that session maybe tomorrow morning where we will look at how to set our trading bots in terms of strategy and manage our risk accordingly for the current market conditions. And maybe if we have enough time, I'll share with you some of the strategies I've been able to develop that could help you manage your risk in the upcoming bull run or maybe rallies, that you will be able to make money, but approach. Yeah. Now, I want to promise you that your capital is going to dictate how much you make out of the market. If you have small capital, don't try to push it beyond what it can do. Yeah. Don't try to push it beyond what it can do. Your capital will dictate how much you make out of the market. Now, when you understand that, you'll be able to make money and not lose it. Some people had up to $3,000, $7,000 last year in November, and I've talked to very many people who right now have as low as $400 from $7,000. You get it? As low as $500 from $3,000, and that is the reason because they went on and they went hard on the market and they floated for 8 months, and we are just praying for out season to come, and some of these tokens come out. Now those are some of the mistakes that certain people made. There are certain strategies that you can use that can protect your capital but ensure that you make some money. Now I'll be teaching some of those maybe tomorrow. I'll be looking at strategy settings and sharing more insights about the market. Otherwise, I want to thank you for your attendance today. I'm seeing a very huge number of people. I don't have any questions. I see all other coins apart from BTC altcoins. Yes, basically alt stands for alternative to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin being the initial cryptocurrency, alt stands for alternative coins to Bitcoin. So the major altcoin is Ethereum, and everything else follows in that basket. Your presentation can make me another billion. Thank you so much, Prince. Which ones are tokens? Which one? Other blockchains that do not have a native blockchain, coins that have blockchains, yeah, assets on the crypto market that have their own blockchains, like BNB, like Solana, like Ethereum, like Bitcoin, Sui. Those coins have blockchains on their own, so those are called coins. Tokens are rather cryptocurrencies that are created on other blockchains. Yeah, the tokens like Jupiter, tokens like Pancake Swap, tokens like all those meme coins that you trade, right? They are created on other blockchains. You'll find that its blockchain or its system is BSC. When we ask which chain is it on, and you say that is a Solana token, that is a Binance token, that is a Sui token. Basically, those are tokens created on top of other blockchains. So tokens are created on other blockchains. Coins have their own native blockchains. So yeah, that is it. I hope that has been cleared for you. Elaborate more on the relationship between Ethereum and Bitcoin dominance next time. Thank you so much. Please make sure you bring up that question next time. We'll talk about it. What coin can I hold for a while as I wait for the bull run? Coach already has shared some tokens. You can check on the group. I believe if we can ask him, he can share those coins again. But Christine, make sure you come here tomorrow morning. I probably can come up with some tokens. I will prepare, look at the charts, and maybe come up with a few tokens that those of you want to hold can hold as we wait for the bull run. Yeah, I can't share now, but of course I have ideas, but I can't share now. I will have to look through my own. I don't know what you mean by that. Okay, thank you so much. All right, guys. Thank you for your attendance, and I want to wish you a good day. Go and make. Today we have news. Today we have news in the market.
Thank you very much.
Other than that, thank you so
God
much,
bless you.
and have an awesome day. Bye bye.
Yes.
Have enough, everyone.